Yo, what is up guys? It's IFM here, back with another video. Sorry for the break, I was a little bit busy over the weekend, but we're getting back at it with some semifinals action from the Smogon World Cup of Pokemon, and today we have a great match for you. It's BKC versus Undisputed playing some advanced OU. And you might remember from the last time that BKC was in the spotlight on my channel, it involved the controversial move Rock Slide. Smogon really needs to ban it because it just turns the game of Pokemon into a fucking luck fest. And this game proved the point once again. Kevin Cronin was involved in a bunch of Rock Slide bullshit, and we're just going to jump straight into the action and show you why Rock Slide needs to be out of the advanced OU metagame, and possibly every single other metagame too. So, as you can see, Kevin Cronin is going to be leading with that Starmie, and it's going to be up against the Undisputed's Gengar, and Starmie is able to threaten Gengar out quite easily with Psychic, so he predicts a double into something like a Snorlax, and that gives Kevin Cronin the chance to get the Tyranitar in, as he perfectly predicts the switch from Undisputed. And this Tyranitar is going to be able to threaten this Snorlax quite heavily, and depending on the set, it's going to be very difficult for Undisputed to find a counter to it. So he decides just to send in his Gengar to, try to eat maybe like a Roar or something, or on a Dragon Dance, something like that. And it's just going to be the Roar from BKC. Going to roar out the Tyranitar. And now Kevin Cronin is not going to want to risk any shenanigans of something like a Brick Break or a Choice Band Earthquake or something like that. So he's just going to send in the Flygon. And the Flygon is going to take that HP Grass quite easily. Reveals that it is a mixed Tar. And he's just going to switch out of the Flygon because he doesn't want to risk a Ice Beam as well. And as you can see, it is going to be the Ice Beam from the Tyranitar. Doesn't do a whole lot to BKC's Tyranitar, and now he has an opportunity to start throwing off some attacks as his own as he successfully scouted the set. And that HP Grass is doing about 37.4, but as you can see, the Earthquake does massive fucking damage. Takes it down to 45% health after the leftovers recovery, so it's not going to be living for too much longer if it takes a couple more of those Earthquakes. So instead, he just decides to switch out, and we see a good prediction here from Kevin Cronin. Was expecting maybe the Gengar to come in on a Earthquake, but instead he is able to catch the Swampert with the Crunch, get a little bit of damage in, and now he just decides to go to a Skarmory because it pretty much walls Swampert entirely, and it has an opportunity to set up spikes and get the hazard damage rolling in on Undisputed's team, as so far his team is quite spikes weak, though we haven't seen his last two in the back, most likely not as spikes weak as the rest of the team. So yeah, as you can see, it's the Zapdos coming in, obviously not taking anything from those spikes because of its ground resist, and actually the first layer goes up right there, and it's going to be able to threaten this Skarmory out quite easily. And another thing is, HP Ice Zapdos threatens pretty much every single thing on Kevin Cronin's team. So he's going to find it hard pressed to deal with this, because so far, like, Zapdos does a number to everything, though. If it is HP Grass, the Flygon's going to be able to check it quite easily, so not a whole lot to worry about in regards to that. So Kevin Cronin goes, well, I guess we'll just send the fucking Flygon in. And send the fucking Flygon, and he does, and he eats a Toxic, and now the Flygon's fucked. Yeah, that was actually a great prediction there by Undisputed. Able to get the Toxic in on the Flygon, and now, even if he doesn't have the HP Ice, it's going to be hard-pressed to check this Zapdos over a long period of time, though it really has to worry about Rock Slides occasionally. And now Kevin Cronin, he's also has nothing really to deal with this Gengar. So this Gengar is going to be able to put in a whole hell of a lot of work, depending on the set. And he decides just to switch the Flygon out, not risk an Ice Punch, and he switches in the Aerodactyl, and he's a dumbass. Switches it right into the Hypnosis. An amazing play there. And I guess there's not going to be any Rock Slide shenanigans from this Aerodactyl the rest of the game. So yeah, he's just going to switch it out because he's stupid. And in comes the Flygon, and look at that. It's going to just eat a Shadow Ball, and proving once again that he has no way of dealing with this Gengar, as now it's just the next time around, just another Shadow Ball. It's just going to kill the Flygon, depending on a roll, something like that. But Kevin Cronin decides not to risk it. Just goes to the Skarmory, because at least it can eat a Shadow Ball. And takes that to the face. Does a decent amount of damage, but nothing too major. So, yeah, it's still going to have an opportunity to set up more spikes or something like that if it wants to, but instead he's just going to switch it out. And Starmie's going to come in here, and it's going to take the burn from the Will-O-Wisp. But that's not a huge fucking deal, because I mean it does have natural cure after all. But you don't want it to take too much passive damage, because most of these Starmies that you find in the lead are not going to be pack and recover, because they want to have the full coverage of Bolt Beam, Hydro Pump, and Psychic to deal with as much of the metagame as possible. So instead, he just switches out his switches out his Starmie into the Skarmory, and this is going to wall Snorlax to hell and back. So more chance for more layers, and just be able to start running down Undisputed's team, especially if the last mon is grounded. So I'm instead going to switch out to the Tyranitar. Makes a bold-ass prediction right here. And this bold-ass prediction is going to pay off in the form of Gengar coming in on this Tyranitar. But it's already revealed the Will-O-Wisp, and he really, really does not want to have this Tyranitar take the burn. So he's going to be switching it out, because that would just be horrible. And he's going to send the Starmie in. And this time around, it's just going to eat the explosion. The Gengar had had enough of living and just decided to hit the good old boom button and takes the Starmie down. And that's a big threat gone from Undisputed's team. He was really weak to that Starmie. So now it's just going to be up to this Gengar, really, and this Tyranitar to be able to put out enough pressure to break through the team he's brought. And the Gengar is going to come in on the Zapdos, and one thing to consider is modest Zapdos has like a 75% chance to kill with Sand with a T-Bolt, and Kevin Cronin does not want to risk that. So instead, he's just going to switch in the Flygon to eat that Thunderbolt quite easily thanks to its ground immunity, and he's starting to make a couple better plays occasionally, but he still is Kevin Cronin. So he eats that T-Bolt and just doubles out of the Flygon so it does not take any damage there, and he's able to get the Gengar back in on the Swampert. And right now, Gengars can sometimes be running something like a Giga Drain, is the most common way they have to deal with Swampert. HP Grass is not too common, and Giga Drain, when Swampert's at that HP, will not kill the majority of times, especially if he's able to roll up and protect right now. So Undisputed's feeling pretty safe, but then he eats the Ice Punch with the Protect, like I said, so he's feeling real safe. But is this Gengar going to do something? It's going to roll, and it's going to hit him with the HP Grass. Super uncommon move, but fucking nasty as fuck. Going to take down the Swampert, and going to get Kevin Cronin the Pokemon lead. But here comes the Madman. Here comes the Aerodactyl. And right about now, Kevin Cronin just shit his pants, because he doesn't have fuck all to deal with this right now, thanks to his own Aerodactyl being sleeping, and his the Flygon taking a hell of a lot of damage from the Toxic. But as you can see, the first Rock Slide miss comes out, and the second one hits. Obviously, it's a 50% accurate move, and now Kevin Cronin's just he can't deal, and he just sends in his Tyranitar, just says fuck it, and just decides to give himself up to the Lords of the Rock Slide, the most broken move in Pokemon, and the Lords of the Rock Slide have spoken. It misses on the Tyranitar, and his own Rock Slide is able to come up with the kill, take out the huge threat in Aerodactyl. He drops the sorry man in the chat, but you know he wasn't. He was praising the Rock Slide and just woeing the day that it's going to get banned from Advanced because it's a fucking shit move. And Snorlax comes in now, and it's time to just go into Skarmory and set up a little bit of hazards. And now the only big threat left on Undisputed's team is going to be that Swampert, and he has the Gengar to deal with it with maybe something like an explosion. He's able to set up hazards to deal with the rest of them on. So this is a very difficult situation that Undisputed finds himself in now that the Lords of the Rock Slide have left him in an unfavorable position. So Body Slam, gonna get dropped on that Skarmory, and not doing a whole lot. Able to get a layer, 2 layers up. So now he's just gonna get the 3rd layer up, and this Snorlax is not gonna be able to do hell fuck nothing on it. And he just throws out the Body Slams. As you can tell, it's a 30% miss. It's never gonna happen, unlike the 10% miss from Rock Slide that happened twice. So yeah, just throwing out the Body Slams, never gonna fucking pair. This Skarmory too strong. And now it's just gonna Whirlwind out the Zapdos. And this Zapdos is just gonna lay into this Skarmory straight up. There's not a whole lot this Skarm's going to be able to do to it. And so he's like, last few times, you know, he's T-bolted my Flygon. He's really liking making that move. And look at that. He finally predicts it's the HP Grass into the Flygon and it's gonna be dead. And now, you know, the key thing is, this Tyranitar would be sitting at like 20% health if the Lords of the Rock Slide had decided to go Undisputed's way, but instead it's sitting at fucking 81, gonna tank a T-Bolt like it's nobody's business. And he's got a very decent chance to KO back with the Rock Slide, and he does it. And that's gonna be the Zapdos down, 3 layers of spikes, up on Kevin Cronin's side of the field. Still got a Gengar with Explosion sitting in the back. Still got a Skarmory that's able to whirlwind the fuck around. And still got this Tyranitar that's able to roar as well. So he's just going to take that HP grass, no problem. Going to throw out the roar right here. We're going to get the the Snorlax in at 51% health. And now it's just a matter of time if the Lords of the Rock Slide are willing that Kevin Cronin's going to be able to pull off a victory here. So, as you can see, rolls in the Rock Slide, does massive damage, takes down that Snorlax with the critical hit. The Lords of the Rock Slide are very kind to Kevin Cronin, and Undisputed is going to just forfeit without letting that Tyranitar die. Still keeps a semblance of a Pokemon alive, but we all know the ass kicking he received thanks to Rock Slide not being on his side. So I would like to make a personal request to the tournament directors on Smogon and the people in charge of tiering. As you can see by these 2 videos, I will link the other one in the description. The previous Kevin Cronin video, Rock Slide is horse shit. These 30% chances that it brings of flinches, plus the miss chance, it's way too much for the game of Pokemon. We need to get down to a state where you're only using moves with 100% accuracy that don't have any side effects, because Pokemon is a game of skill. It is not a game that ever revolves around luck. There should be no aspect of luck in this game. We should get rid of damage rolls. We should get rid of critical hits. We should get rid of everything that is not pure skill based. So please take the first steps towards that and ban Rock Slide. And thank you guys for just watching this video. This has been IFM. I'm out of here. Fuck all y'all. Fuck Kevin Cronin and fuck Rock Slide.